Welcome, crypto fam, to Crypto News Global. On today's show, we are going to talk about Glassnode co-founder says Bitcoin profit taking slowing, outline 2 factors that could spark altcoin for BTC, spark action for BTC. Next story, Bitcoin futures funding rates suggest 2025 starting with cautious optimism, analysts say. U.S. Bitcoin reserve idea could spark global race, Metaplanet CEO predicts. And the feature story of today is Robert Kiyosaki, rich dad, predicts Bitcoin price to 175K and 350K this year. All this and so much more on today's show. Welcome everybody again. This is January 2nd, 2025, and thanks for joining us on Crypto News Global. Got a fun, exciting show for you today, and we're going to go through Market Watch, we're going to go through our Bitcoin technical analysis, and then we're going to head into our stories of the day a little later on. So let's get right into it, and let's go into Coin 360. We see Bitcoin up pumping today. Actually, pretty much everything's up in the green today. Bitcoin's pumping around now at 97. Bitcoin dominance at 55%. Ethereum at 34.72, up a couple percent. XRP up a couple percent. BNB, Solana up 5%. Pretty much everything here, even Doge, Sheeb, Pepe, pretty much everything's in the green. And let's flip into crypto bubbles and see what's going on for today. The big gainers, Fartcoin. We shouldn't be surprised. SPX, another big winner. As we see mostly everything in the green here on screen. XLM up 6 and a bit. Near Protocol, Solana, Bitcoin, as we said, up 2.5%. WIF, Gala, Ethereum up almost 4%. And if we flip into the weekly, we'll see the AI meme coin, AI16Z, way up, virtual coin, fart coin. And for the month, it looks like it's alt season with really these alts up quite a bit for the day. And if we go to the year, we see everything's up huge. WIF 2000, OM, never heard of it, 7,000%. Pepe, whoever was lucky enough to get into that meme coin, 1,600. SPX. Jasmy up 500. There's one I own. And let's flip right into Crypto Fear and Greed Index. Let's make sure it's updated, and it wasn't. And today we are at a 57, which is considered neutral. Yesterday also neutral at 51, last week 54, and last month we had a lot of time in extreme greed. So with this number at 57, I think we can expect that Bitcoin's going to pump a bit. Typically, when it's low and neutral or in fear, Bitcoin will pump along with most other coins. And then when it goes into extreme greed, then we generally find a bit of a pullback. Let's go into our halving countdown, 1,338 days, approximately 3.5 years until the next halving date. And let's flip open our tradingview.com and we'll zoom right in. I've got the chart already marked up with some things we can look at. And here we are over here. If we flip into the daily, we'll get Bitcoin a low 96 and a high 97. Current price 97.1, asking 97, just under 97. We go into the weekly view, and we had a low of 91. Monthly view, just a couple weeks ago, we hit our all-time high of 108,000 US, and still the low is of this week. And if we go year to date or 1 year, we've pumped quite a bit from 38 to 108, and hopefully there's quite a bit more waiting for us. And let's slip back into our all-time view. So I've marked up the chart a bit beforehand, reflecting the halving years and the halving dates. So here we've got December 2012, our first halving, and if we use the Fibonacci model and mark it up, which I've already done to save a little time, we'll see over here from the halving date until a year later, approximately a year later, Bitcoin went from $150 to $28.75, and that's a difference of 19x. Then we flip into the next halving, July of 2016, July 1st, 2016. And the cycle peak at that point was December 17th, about a year and a bit, the year after the halving. Generally, at least in the previous cycles, it's been about in between October and December the following year, the cycle peak. And in that case, we went from a cycle low of 27.87 on the halving date and a cycle high of 14.73, which is approximately 8x. Then the previous halving to this one, our current halving, was May 2020, at which time Bitcoin was at a price of 74.15 and peaked at 62,000, which really should be about 69. I'm not sure why they've got, maybe I had to zoom in more to get the exact date. This is approximate, and of course it's not financial advice. I'm just giving an example of how you could do some charting to make your own predictions on where you think the price of Bitcoin, or really any coin or stock, can go. And we see here the cycle peak was at the end of October, and in this case 74 to 62, which is approximately 7x. So then I've taken the liberty to give a couple examples here, and this first example is at a 3.5x from the halving date, 60,900, to 3.5x from there brings us to 220. And if we followed a similar kind of chart, 8x, 7x, I'd be surprised if we see this huge 19x anymore. It will settle down slowly as it becomes more of a currency. It won't have these huge fluctuations anymore. Traditionally, a currency starts off as a speculative asset, very volatile, but people don't like volatile assets to be used as a currency. Before it becomes a currency, it needs to really become much more stable. So I see this trend, 8x, 7x, 6x, even at 3.5x, this would be kind of a reasonable range for this halving. this cycle. So I do suggest that we're going to see, just as we did in the previous times, we've got October the following year of the halving, December the following year of the halving, November the following year of the halving. So we're probably looking at about that time, which would bring us into this. So if it goes up 3.5x, we're looking at a price of about 223,000, and if we are lucky enough that we see a 6x, we're looking at about 378,000. All right, I think that's a pretty fair estimation. Again, not financial advice. A lot of experts are predicting in around this range. Others are suggesting 500 to even a million. Really depending on what happens in the presidential portion of things and how Trump is going to use Bitcoin, or if he's going to allow Bitcoin to become a strategic reserve like he said he's going to. So, notwithstanding, let's get into our stories of the day. And our first story is Glassnode co-founder say Bitcoin profit-taking slowing, outlining 2 factors that could spark action for BTC. Co-founders of blockchain analyst platform Glassnode say Bitcoin profit-taking is slowing while identifying 2 factors that could send BTC higher this month. Glassnode and Swissblock founders Jan Happel and Jan Alleman, who share the social media handle Negantropic, say that the net realized profit/loss metric, which tracks whether Bitcoin holders are selling at a loss or profit, indicates profit selling has declined from the peaks of November and December. They also say rallies may reignite for Bitcoin ahead of pro-crypto U.S. President-elect Donald Trump taking office in January 20th due to investors rebalancing their portfolios at the start of the year and the market reopening after the holiday closure. Profit-taking is slowing as BTC stabilizes at 94 and 95,000, making the zone less appealing for investors. Agreed. For an upward momentum, new liquidity and participants are key. Market reopening and portfolio shifts could spark action soon, possibly before Trump's inauguration day. Net realized profit and loss. Effectively, what they're saying is people who have already taken their profit have taken it and they're kind of sitting on the sideline, and there's not much action right now in that respect. Bitcoin's trading for 97 at the time of the writing, up 4.5% today. The analysts also suggest that altcoins may start to outperform Bitcoin as the Bitcoin dominance chart, which tracks how much of the total crypto market cap belongs to BTC, remains below a recent high of about 61% at the time of writing. BTC is at 57. We saw it at 56 in Coin 360 a moment ago. They also note that Ethereum may have found a market bottom against Bitcoin. Is an altcoin rebound brewing? Ethereum and BTC kick off the week with a strong momentum, while BTC dominance struggles to keep its bullish trend on a weekly chart. Bitcoin's dominance is losing steam, and Ethereum BTC has printed a higher low, possibly signaling a bottom. It's time for the altcoins to shine, at least for a while. And let's move into our next story of the day, which is Bitcoin futures. Funding rates suggest that 2025 starting with cautious optimism, according to analysts. Price of Bitcoin is holding above the 96,000 mark as traders adopt a cautious approach. Funding rates remain subdued as the cryptocurrency market begins the year. Bitcoin is currently holding above 96,000 with analytics, we saw it at 97, attributing to its stability to traders' cautious approach ahead of the potential market-moving event, including Donald Trump's inauguration on January 20th. Bitcoin perpetual futures funding rate stands at 0.01 per the most recent 8-hour contract cycle across most major exchanges, according to Glassnode data. All right, CoinGlass data. This is the strongest in over a week, but still within a neutral range according to the BitGet wallet COO Alvin King. Currently, there are no significant increase in the Bitcoin perpetual futures funding rate, which has remained within the neutral range, Ken told the book. The stability indicates that while there is some optimism, traders are exercising caution ahead of the key events, such as Trump's inauguration, before committing to long positions. I can agree with that. Over the past 24 hours, cryptocurrency markets saw over 130 million in short liquidations across major centralized exchanges. So the people that were shorting Bitcoin basically got wrecked for 130 million in short liquidations. CoinGlass data showed that Bitcoin accounted for 36 million of these liquidations, with 28 million coming from short positions. Ethereum followed with 15 million total liquidations, 12 million of which were short. This trend, combined with a declining trading volume across exchanges, highlights a growing caution among traders who appear hesitant to place significant bets against Bitcoin in the current market environment. I wouldn't place bets against Bitcoin going up either right now. Emerging narratives with AI tokens and market trends. This is pretty interesting here. While Bitcoin holds steady, new narratives are emerging in the broader cryptocurrency market. AI-integrated tokens, particularly those using blockchain for portfolio management and decentralized finance optimization, are gaining traction among investors and analysts. AI tokens are emerging as a significant trend as AI integrates with blockchain technology, said Alvin Ken. By 2025, we should expect AI agents to play pivotal roles in portfolio management and blockchain governance. Yeah, I can see that happening already. We find, let's go to this one. OXYZ founder Ahmed Shadid shares with the block that while tokens like AI16Z carry speculative appeal, the sustained growth and adoption of AI agents could transform blockchain transactions. The founder said that if current development trends continue, a substantial portion of blockchain transactions across the industry could be driven by AI agents. In the coming months, we'd likely see more than double the 10,000 AI agents already in the market, with the key focus upholding the decentralization tenets. So we saw this in the traditional stock market where AI is placing pretty much most of the trades on a daily basis on the stock markets. And I'm not surprised, according to these guys, we might start seeing a similar kind of thing in the crypto field. Let's move on to our next story. U.S. Bitcoin reserve idea could spark a global race, according to Metaplanet CEO. Jurovich predicts U.S. move to adopt Bitcoin would spur global competition, stabilize developing nations' currency. Sounds about right. Metaplanet CEO Simon Gurvich predicts a worldwide rush for Bitcoin accumulation if the USA adopts Bitcoin strategic reserve. In a January 2nd post on X, Gurvich stressed the potential chain reaction a U.S. move to embrace Bitcoin could ignite. He suggested that adopting would trigger competitive behavior among countries where early movers benefit most while latecomers face higher costs. So there'd be this countrywide, worldwide, country-by-country FOMO, where they would all have this fear of missing out if the U.S. adopts Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. So you would see this race to, start adopting Bitcoin across nations across the world. The U.S. adopting a Bitcoin strategic reserve could trigger a global domino effect. As a game theory kicks in, national states will race to accumulate Bitcoin, knowing the last to act will pay the highest price. Absolutely, because If the price goes up, they're going to be paying a higher price to get in. In a video shared by Bitcoin Magazine, Garovich further stressed that the incoming Donald Trump administration fulfills its commitments to position Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. This action could set a global precedent, influencing countries like Japan to follow suit. He pointed that Japan's historical alignment with U.S. policies and predicted similar trends across Asia and other regions. Garovich also discussed the potential impact on developing nations. He suggested that adopting Bitcoin might stabilize these countries' currency and strengthen their economies. Absolutely. And we see that with El Salvador. Garovich's optimism is widely shared by other crypto enthusiasts who believe such a move could benefit the top crypto. However, skepticism remains in the industry. Ki-Young-Ju, CEO of CryptoQuant, questioned the practicality of such a move. He noted that a shift to Bitcoin would likely only occur if the U.S. faced a major economic challenge threatening its global dominance. Ju compared this proposal to past calls for a return to the gold standard, which were dismissed in favor of financial innovation. He argued that Bitcoin, like gold, may encounter resistance due to risks of relying on a single asset. Ju added, Ki-Young-Ju, CEO of CryptoQuant, the notion of buying Bitcoin to prepare for a Bitcoin standard or as a tool to defend the dollar system seems far removed from the current reality. With global capital flowing into the U.S., many still believe the dollar's dominance is secure. Moreover, market sentiment also reflects this skepticism. Polymarket predictions suggest only 25% likelihood of President-elect Trump introducing a Bitcoin reserve in the first 100 days. So, I agree with some of this. They have already said, Janet Yellen and Donald Trump have already said that they're not necessarily using this to replace the dollar. They're using it to hold for 20 years, and pay off their $36 trillion debt, which we see right here, which since yesterday we looked, it's gone up over $100 million and counting. Let's go into our feature story of the day from Rich Dad Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki, who predicts Bitcoin price to $175,000 and $350,000 this year. As Robert Kiyosaki predicts BTC price to $175 to $350 by 2025 amid rising adoption, market demand, and dovish Fed policies boosting momentum. Kiyosaki, the author of the famous Rich Dad Poor Dad, has revealed his expectation for a whopping rise in the value of Bitcoin in 2025. Kiyosaki values Bitcoin price between $175 and $350 as he continues to take a bullish approach toward the popular cryptocurrency. The following forecasts come after Bitcoin's outstanding year in 2024, which saw the crypto rise by 121% and hit a record of 108,135 in December. In a post on X, Kiyosaki reiterated his bullish outlook on Bitcoin, predicting that the cryptocurrency could climb to $175 or even $350,000 in 2025. He attributed this to the growing market demand and the enhanced usage of Bitcoin as an investment instrument. Bitcoin, the world's largest crypto by market capitalization, surged 121% in a year and hit a record high of 108,135 in mid-December. As of the time of writing, Bitcoin made a sharp recovery from the low of 94,000 earlier in the week and managed to rise above 97,000 as of right now. Similarly, in December, Rich Dad Poor Dad author Kiyosaki warned of an impending global economic depression, highlighting downturns in Europe, China, and the U.S. Robert Kiyosaki advised individuals to protect their wealth by investing in assets such as Bitcoin, gold, and silver. He's always been pushing gold and silver, and more since literally the 1960s, and more recently in the past couple of years he's become also very bullish on Bitcoin, and he's buying. His effort is to get to 100 Bitcoins. I believe it's by the end of the next year, and currently he has 68 or 72, somewhere in there, around 70 Bitcoins. Therefore, Kiyosaki has stressed the need for self-custody of Bitcoin and discouraged investors from focusing on the institutional investment products such as ETFs. Interestingly, Kiyosaki did not change his stand that Bitcoin price could reach 350 by 2025. Other analysts have echoed Kiyosaki's bullish sentiment for Bitcoin. FundStrat's Tom Lee has projected a target of 250,000 in 2025. Galaxy Digital anticipates cryptocurrency could pass 150 within the first half of the year. Analysts point to a growing institutional interest in macroeconomic conditions as drivers for these projections. Additionally, an economist, Alex Kruger, suggests that a dovish stance from the Fed Reserve in 2025 could act as a catalyst for a BTC price rally. He explains that reduced interest rates may create a risk-on environment, boosting assets like Bitcoin. Kruger also notes that a strong equities performance in March or April could further amplify Bitcoin's upward momentum. Moreover, Jeff Park, head of Alpha Securities at Bitwise, suggests that Bitcoin could reach 1 million in 2025. However, he cautioned that this would depend on the implementation of a U.S. Bitcoin strategic reserve, which he estimated has less than a 10% chance of occurring. Market optimism remains high, fueled by Robert Kiyosaki's prediction and prospect of enhanced adoption and regulatory clarity. So, the Poly Market betting site, if you haven't visited, it's free. You don't have to bet, but effectively, there's people betting on everything. While the mainstream media was betting that Kamala Harris was going to beat Donald Trump, and they were pushing the narrative on her behalf. Polymarket all along, the betting site where people actually had money staked in the election, who's going to win, who's going to lose, they were betting on Donald Trump pretty much from the get-go. And what ended up happening was Donald Trump won. So it's a good source, this Poly market, because people are betting their hard-earned money, and they're not just going to throw money away. A lot of these analysts they can say whatever they want because they don't have any interest in anything. They can just, hey, I'm going to say Bitcoin's going to $1. Well, I don't care. I'm going to say it's going to $10 million. Well, I don't care. But if you're putting money down and you're betting on it, then you care a lot more. So Poly Market says 25% chance that Bitcoin will be adopted as a strategic reserve by the U.S. That's not great, but it's not a no. And Donald Trump said he was going to be stockpiling Bitcoin, and he wants to become the dominant Bitcoin capital of the world. And he suggested that if Bitcoin is going to become the next thing, he wants the U.S. to be the Bitcoin capital of the world. He wants the U.S. to be the Bitcoin mining capital of the world as well. So I'm a bit of a believer that he's going to follow through with what he said, and I have a feeling, as much as it may not be a Bitcoin strategic reserve, he said specifically he's going to create a stockpile of Bitcoin, which is the word he used. He said he's never going to sell Bitcoin. And this was at the Nashville, the biggest Bitcoin conference in the world. And he announced that he was the headline speaker on the last day. And he announced that they will never sell their Bitcoin. And they will hodl Bitcoin, and they will keep purchasing Bitcoin, and they will become the Bitcoin mining capital of the world. Incidentally, 2 days after he was at that conference and announced this, the U.S. sold 100,000 Bitcoin, and the very same day they announced $60 billion additional aid to Ukraine. So it's interesting how, the incumbent Biden and Harris were trying to effectively do the opposite of what Trump was calling for. Regardless, thanks everybody for listening, and please join us tomorrow on Crypto News World. And I just want to leave by saying, reiterating that everyone should remember money is abundant and money is everywhere. Time is what's scarce. Don't waste your time. It is scarce on this earth. Spend less than what you earn. If you suddenly make more by, a new job, or you make it big in crypto or Bitcoin, don't spend more, save more, and start saving today. The younger you start saving, the better you are. If you start saving at, 16 or 20 or 25, you can retire in your 40s, or even at 40, or even at 35 in your prime, and not wait until you're 65, 70, where you're not able to do the things you love anymore. Instead of at 40, you can go enjoy everything you like doing, whether it's hiking, traveling, eating, exercising, working out, seeing the world, all the good things. Whatever your great idea might be, do it. Don't let anyone tell you you can't. Start today, even if you're not ready, and bring that idea to life. If you found this stream useful, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next stream. Thanks so much.